It's just after midnight, June 21st, 2025, at Whiteman Air Force Base, Missouri, home of the 509th Bomb Wing. 7 aircraft quietly taxi into position. No press, no announcement. 14 pilots strapped in. Active duty Air Force and Missouri Air National Guard. Every one of them handpicked. Every one of them weapons school graduates. They kissed their families goodbye that morning without being able to say where they were going. The aircraft lift off and turn east, over the Atlantic, into the dark. 37 hours later, they land back at Whiteman to find news cameras already staged outside the base. They had flown over 7,000 miles, penetrated one of the most layered air defense networks in the Middle East, dropped the most powerful conventional bombs ever used in the history of warfare, directly into the underground heart of Iran's nuclear program. Not a single radar station tracked them in. Not a single missile battery got a lock. This is the story of the B-2 Spirit, and how a Cold War idea became the most feared bomber on Earth. Before the B-2, you need to understand the 509th. The 509th Bomb Wing's lineage doesn't start with stealth. It starts on August 6, 1945, when the 509th Composite Group, the most classified unit of World War II, dropped Little Boy on Hiroshima from a B-29 named the Enola Gay. 3 days later, another 509th aircraft dropped Fat Man on Nagasaki. The unit that ended World War II is the same unit that flew Midnight Hammer. When the Air Force needed a home for its most secretive new bomber decades later, there was only one choice. The B-2 arrived at Whiteman in December 1993. The 509th was declared combat ready on April 1, 1997. 80 years of history. One unit. One mission. Deliver weapons no one else can deliver, to targets no one else can reach. The B-2 Spirit is 172 feet wingtip to wingtip. Pure flying wing. No vertical tail. 4 GE turbofans buried inside the wing. Exhausts cooled and shaped to hide their heat signature from the ground. The shape alone scatters radar waves sideways instead of bouncing them back. On top of that, the entire airframe is coated in radar-absorbing material, RAM, that converts incoming radar energy into heat through destructive interference. Every panel seam, every access hatch, sealed with conductive compound the maintenance crews call butter. The result is a radar cross-section around 0.1 square meters. A plane the size of a small airliner, showing up on radar like a bird. Internally, up to 40,000 pounds of weapons. 80 precision dams, nuclear gravity bombs, or the weapon we'll come back to, the GBU-57 massive ordnance penetrator. Everything carried internally because hanging weapons externally would destroy the stealth profile. Range, 6,000 nautical miles unrefueled, with one aerial refueling anywhere on Earth. From Missouri, 21 aircraft were ever built. Each one cost approximately $2 billion. The total program exceeded $44 billion. When you hear that number, remember what it bought. A bomber that can hold any target on this planet at risk, anytime, without warning, without being seen. Now, the mission the B-2 was always built for. Iran's Fordow nuclear facility isn't just underground. It's inside a mountain in northwestern Iran. Dozens of meters of solid granite above it, built specifically to survive a conventional airstrike. Iranian engineers had been reinforcing it since at least 2006. Israel had been striking other Iranian nuclear sites since June 13, 2025, doing real damage to Natanz, degrading Iranian air defenses. But Fordow was a different problem. Israeli aircraft couldn't crack that much rock. No conventional weapon in their inventory could. There was one weapon capable of reaching Fordow, the GBU-57 massive ordnance penetrator. 30,000 pounds, 20 feet long, 15 years in development specifically for deeply buried, hardened targets. Never used in combat before this night. One aircraft could carry it. The B-2, 2 per aircraft. At Whiteman, Colonel Josh Wyaidala selected his most experienced crews, weapons school graduates, veterans of major exercises. More than 4,000 personnel supported the operation. The secrecy was extraordinary. On June 21st, the deception launched first. 2 flights, call signs MYTE-11 and MYTE-21, turned west toward Guam with tankers alongside them, visible to open-source trackers. The aviation community on social media lit up watching B-2s and tankers heading toward the Pacific. Nobody noticed the 7 B-2s that quietly turned east. No transponders, no tankers alongside. Just 7 ghost aircraft crossing the Atlantic, their radar cross-sections invisible to everything below. Multiple refueling contacts in the dark, pilots maneuvering to within 10 feet beneath a tanker to take on fuel at altitude, in total radio silence. 18 hours of flying east. At 2:10 in the morning on June 22nd, the B-2s entered Iranian airspace. Iran's integrated air defense, radars, SAM batteries, interceptors, registered nothing. The attack sequence was surgical. First bombs cracked open Fordow's reinforced ventilation shaft covers. Follow-on mops drove straight through those exposed openings, GPS/INS guided, punching through the rock, detonating deep inside the facility. 6 B-2s hit Fordow. The 7th simultaneously struck Natanz. A U.S. submarine launched over 24 Tomahawks at Isfahan, 25 minutes over target. 14 GBU-57s. 75 total precision-guided weapons. 3 nuclear sites destroyed. Then they turned west and flew home. Over New Jersey, people looked up, spotted unfamiliar silhouettes in loose formation, and started posting on social media. Nobody knew what they were watching. Hours later, 2 formations, a 4-ship and a 3-ship, landed back at Whiteman. General Kane briefed the press. All 3 sites had sustained extremely severe damage and destruction. Defense Secretary Hegseth said it simply. Our B-2s went in and out and back without the world knowing it all. 7 B-2s, 14 pilots, 37 hours, 7,000 miles. The largest B-2 strike operation in history. The first combat use of the GBU-57. And not a single shot fired at the strike package. The 509th Bomb Wing dropped the bombs that ended World War II. 80 years later, they flew the mission that may have ended Iran's nuclear weapons program. That's not a coincidence. That's a lineage. If you want to go deeper, the GBU-57's development, the full electronic warfare picture of Midnight Hammer, or what the B-21 Raider means for the future of global strike, drop it in the comments. Stay sharp.